If you don't know, now you know.
Making music for almost 2 decades, Señor Gigio, thank you for speaking with me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
You were born in San Francisco, raised in Fairfield. After graduating high school, you started a band with your friends, and you've performed in shows throughout Berkeley and beyond now as a solo independent artist. What got you into rap? And I know some of your music inspirations are groups like Public Enemy. How do your inspirations influence your music?
Well, I feel like for my generation, like rap is, rap was the voice for my generation. So that's just what kids my age were into. That's what I was into, and that's what my friends were into. That's what my cousins were into, and I was creative. I had a creative inclination and an artistic inclination, and rap spoke to me, and I decided to explore myself that way creatively. And in terms of how music, so Public Enemy, the way my inspirations influenced me, people, especially if you're looking like at groups like Public Enemy, I mean, there have been like great standards have been set, so I love to look at the way different innovative groups have like broken ground, whether it was something stylistic or maybe a way that they introduce themselves culturally, and the newness of it all, like how do people come out new? What did they do to set themselves apart? And I especially have a special love for people who have been prolific and stayed persistent and never faded out with time. So those are like things I look for in my influences.
The song we played is called Senior Citizen Gigolo. You dropped in 2019, but you just now released a music video for it. I thought it had interesting lyrics, so let's discuss quickly some of these lyrics. You rap, Senior Citizen Gigolo, guess I'm an OG now, but I don't feel so old, Gigolo. They want to pimp my image and print in a brochure with these little hoes so they can get ring like Piccolo. This ain't aggro rap, I'm just passionate, I can't hold back. I show love to MC even though they can't show back. I praise originality, talent, and hard work. Now, listeners, Senor Gigio is pretty young. You're in your 30s. I mean, you're not old, but why name it Senior Citizen Gigolo?
Well, all right. So the thing is, it's really it's really to own my name, and that's been a theme in all along throughout my life. But people butcher my name. Okay. So, when you come into hip hop and coming into music, the only thing you really have is your name. That's what you get to, make for yourself. And that's what you get to maintain and claim for yourself. That's what you leave with, is the name that you give yourself and the name you keep. And, I've been doing this for a long time, in the Bay and beyond. And, I got a name. It stands for something. But it's just funny. This song is more playful, but it is also to kind of like poke at how many times my name has been butchered, especially within circles that people should know better. So that's what it's about, because it has been like people have said things damn near like Senior Gigolo. And it's like, that's not my name, and you messed up the flyer. You know what I mean? So that's what it is.
You sampled rapper Nas's song called Nas Is Like. Discuss sampling music and your thoughts on it, because mainstream artists do this all the time. Some agree, others don't, with the whole originality concept. But in the end, that's the whole idea of inspiration and part of the creative process and history in music. That's why you twist it and you make it your own. And for the most part, listeners enjoy it. Some say, quote, sampling allows another artist's music to live on by being brought back to light, end quote. You clearly have done it yourself. What's your opinion on this?
Yeah, so what's interesting too, like with this particular track, like going with the Nas track, the Nas is like, so it's a mixtape style song, and that's something that's been like a tradition in hip hop where rappers will hop on other rappers' beats and put out, you know, mixtapes like that. They'll call it a freestyle or something. And all throughout like the majority of like my artistry and my history making music, I've tended to stray away from doing that just because I've been like surrounded by like really wonderful producers who will make me stuff from scratch. But you know, this time around, you know, just with having a dope catalog and continuing to make new stuff, around that time in 2019, I said, you know what, I want to do my version of a mixtape and kind of take people through some of my influences and pay homage in that kind of way. So that's what it's about. And you know, I chose that Nas's like track because it, you know, there's like the name association to it. He was owning his name in that, and I wanted to own my name in a way. And you know, also I think like to be able to hop on that kind of beat and show my lyrical prowess, you know, following in Nas's footsteps is just to kind of show like, hey, you got to hold me at a higher caliber. You know what I mean? But in terms of like, you know, sampling as an art form, yeah, you know, I think it is, and I think it's foundational to the thing that's made hip hop what it is.
Let's talk about your latest music, but first, hear your song titled Showtime from your latest EP called Man of the Hour. First of all, love the bass beat. Definitely gets me snapping my fingers. The song is about continuing and not missing the show and doing what you love, which is music. You've been doing this for a long time, as you mentioned, mostly on your own. I'm sure you've had moments of artistic block. How do you keep motivated as an underground artist, and how do you prepare for each show performance? Do the nerves ever go away?
You know, this year, like, I've kind of like gone through a shift. You know, I've been doing this thing for such a long time. I think it's easy to get fixed in a type of like approach, or even thinking, putting too much form to what it is that we do, or how we approach this whole thing, or what we think we're doing with it. And this year, like, I've kind of like unraveled a lot, and I have like new approach, and it's a lot more open, and it's been very helpful. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I have to accept that this is who I am, that making music is who I am, that performing and all these things is just who I am. So it's like, that's how I function. And it's like, you know, the key is that no matter what, I'm going to be doing it, you know, but how to have more joy and how to have more, just more fun doing it. I think it makes all the difference, because I'm going to be doing it, you know, one way or the other, you know? Yeah, I mean, I think that, I feel like, this year I've learned to accept that about myself, and I realize that I'm teaching myself through what I'm doing. So I'm excited now. I'm like excited to learn from these experiences that I'm engaged in, and you know, pretty much anything that I'm doing, that I sign up to do, if it's a show or anything like this, it's something that speaks to me, to my heart. So, boom, that's it. And yeah, you know, like recently with shows, because it's like your nerves get worked up, you think everything, and I had kind of like an epiphany on the last, or an epiphany on the last show I did, and I just realized, like, you know, I got nothing to, like, what there's a different mindset. There's a mindset between trying to show up and try to be the best, and trying to like overperform and do hella good, which I can, you know, you wouldn't know. I might pull up like that and have many times and have, you know, put on a great show. But it's about me and my experience, what I get to walk away from it. And recently I just kind of came to the conclusion that, like, oh, okay, I can trust myself to be myself, to show up, and that I will be me, one of the best. You know what I mean? And that makes all the difference. And in terms of just like nerves, I think it's a part of it. I think it's good. I think that's why we get a rush from it, because it's a very energetic thing to do, to feel all that energy and to try to like ride it all out, and then, stay clear through all of it. And I don't know, I kind of like last show, I was getting worked up and I just imagined my wife and my kid were there next to me, because that just reminds me about who I am and like why I do what I do. And like, I felt them and they calmed my nerves, you know what I mean?
They kind of help you take those nerves away.
Yeah, it reminds me who I am. It's just like when I'm with them, I can be myself completely. And that's who I want to be, and that's how I want to feel when I'm getting on stage. That I'm like completely myself.
Let's play one more song from the EP called "Life Is Changing Me." We change and evolve through the course of our life. We mature, we learn from mistakes, and you rap about this. You also touch on sharing love and being love. How has music changed you? If the song was called "Music is Changing Me" rather than "Life is Changing Me," describe your evolution as an artist from when you started to now. For example, appreciating and experimenting other genres that you probably didn't like when you were younger.
That's such a good question. I feel like what I've come to kind of learn and experience through my music is that, music is life. And I've made music my life, In the beginning, I wanted to express myself. I wanted to discover myself. I wanted to explore myself and share that with other people. And also work out some of my eccentricity, experiment, that's part of it, is we experiment with ourselves. And I've kind of come to learn, especially, it's like I've always known this, but you relearn it. I've known it and I've learned it before and I've said it before, but right now I'm in this phase where, when you make music, what you say, like, it comes back to you, So the things that you put into your music, that's going to become your life, and that's what I've learned, So that's the way that music has worked. It's shaped my life, because you get on a song, you're creating a vibration. And you're making a statement, and then you're saying it out loud, and then you're hearing it back. So you're saying it, and then you're playing it back to yourself, and it has an effect. I guess in terms of like where that's been from where I started to now, it's like I guess I would say that before I didn't know what I could do in life, and now I have a life, because of it. And I'm continuing to discover myself and express myself in that way.
In total, this EP has 4 tracks, and the other 2 songs are called Man of the Hour and Master Plan, which, by the way, I enjoy listening to Master Plan. Your most recent single is called Journey to Nowhere, collaborating with your friend Kristen Cardias-Menos and her band. She's playing the sitar instrument, which you don't hear on a daily basis. Let's listen.
It's the right tailed hawk. There you go.
We won't dive super into it, but just share the overall theme or concept of this song.
So yeah, that's actually a remix to the original, The Journey to Nowhere. So that's the Journey to Nowhere remix. It's a collaboration, the Kristen Cardias-Menos project featuring myself. And y'all should go check out the music video. It has tons of like dope imagery and animation in it too. So
to end, it's time for a short segment I call Current Music Fact, where we talk about a news topic that's currently going on in the music industry. So, Gigio, according to Billboard, there are no rap songs in the top 40 for the top Billboard Hot 100 for the first time since 1990. Billboard also said the lack of rap songs in the Hot 100's top 40 is the latest sign of a recent dip in a rap's commercial dominance. What are your thoughts on this? How do you think that can be changed? And what can rappers do, or what will they do, to change this?
I have a lot of thoughts on this, but, I think that you know, it's for many different reasons, you know, why you see that. But I think for essence of time to speak on like what I think is really important is I think that, you know, like as hip hop culture, you know, the real hip hop culture, the true hip hop culture, which has always been underground. It started underground. The roots have always been there. We don't care about the top 40. You know, that's a different game. That's something that actually is outside of, you know, what we do. Now, sometimes, you know, we can create hip hop music and compete in the industry in mainstream music, but that's not why we make hip hop. That's not why hip hop was created, and that's not what it's based on. So I think that like it's important for us, you know, to get down to the roots and look to the history. Look, it's amazing, incredible history when you look at, you know, the 70s and the 80s hip hop culture and what cats were doing like in New York City with the elements, with graffiti and breakdancing and everything, and that's, I think, the true heart of it. And I think that that's where we kind of need to go back to is to get grassroots again and redefine everything. You know, what if all along what it actually was is that maybe the top 40 was actually limiting? What if that was a limit to how far we could actually go with it? What if we could go another direction? So that's what I think.
Well, thank you for your time, Señor Gigio. Want to share any last words?
Just peace, and I appreciate y'all, and I appreciate you too, Royvi, and congratulations on your first show, and thank you for having me on.